Are you serious? Are you seriously serious? Well, I'm being very serious, and we're preparing, of course, for the webinar Aliens Among Us, which is coming out in 8 days. It's Friday night, August the 2nd. Friday night, August the 2nd. And you can get your ticket at my website at paulbegleyprophecy.com. Now, there's been a discovery in Peru, and also Mike from around the world, when I interviewed him for the webinar, I want you to hear about 4 minutes. I mean, Mike's presentation is an hour and 13 minutes, but I want you to hear 4 minutes of what Mike talked about the ant people. Well, first of all, let me just tell you this: 3-fingered alien mummies were found in Peru having fingerprints that do not appear to be human. You heard me right. They're still trying to put a finger on what this mystery is. Matter of fact, humanoid 3-fingered alien mummies was discovered in Peru last year, and they have straight fingerprints that do not match those of humans, according to an attorney who reviewed one of the controversial specimens. Joshua McDowell, a former Colorado prosecutor and current defense attorney, examined one of the tiny, strange bodies named Maria with 3 independent forensic medical examiners from the United States. He and the experts were shocked to discover that the fingerprints on these ET-like corpses were in perfectly straight lines. These were not traditional human fingerprint patterns, according to attorney Joshua McDowell. We did not see any loops or whorls on the fingerprints of these fingers or on the toes. Now, I'm a former prosecutor. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I've seen lots of fingerprints, and these were not classic fingerprints. He said, I don't know what these are. More than half a dozen of the so-called alien mummies were revealed by a controversial Mexican journalist and a UFO enthusiast, Jose Maussan. McDowell and the U.S. medical examiners traveled with Maussan to Peru to study these bodies. While the lack of human fingerprints is puzzling, he said it would be extremely premature to make any statements about these mummies' origins. One possible explanation for the unusually straight fingerprints could possibly have something to do with the way the skin was preserved, he said, noting that it was very odd. Maria's body is covered in some type of dichomachous earth, a type of white powder made from a sediment of fossilized algae found in bodies of water in Peru. However, on the fingers that were exposed, the ridges I saw appear to be in mostly straight lines. While no official determination has been made regarding the nature of these humanoid-looking bodies, they're small, with 3 fingers on each hand, and McDowell said that the former deputy district attorney from Colorado's 4th Judicial District took a city coroner from Denver and a forensic anthropologist from Maryland State Medical Examiner's Office to South America to Peru to also investigate. He also brought his father, Dr. John McDowell, a forensic odontologist, I'm sorry I didn't pronounce that right, and retired professor of the University of Colorado, who assisted in identifying human remains after the 9/11 attack at the World Trade Center. Okay? So these are not, these are professionals. This was a 4-foot-tall alien, what they call the Nazca mummies, after the region in Peru where they were discovered. And it's crazy. Now, that area is known for elongated heads and other types of strange discoveries. You know, I know L.A. Marzulli's been there a lot. And but these three-fingered hands on these are quite extraordinary. Now, I have a picture of it actually on my thumbnail, and so when you clicked on this video, you saw the actual picture of the thumbnail. Here's what I want to do. I'd like to let you hear what Mike from Around the World had to say, because when I found this article today, I said to myself, "You got to be kidding me! You just got to be kidding me!" This article just came out 2 hours ago, and our webinar is 8 days from now. Even though this discovery of these 4-foot-tall, three-fingered, without fingerprints, mummies, alien-looking mummies, and they're not the little dolls like you heard about that were found in Mexico that was only about that big. No, these are 4 foot tall. You've seen the picture. I want you to hear what Mike had to say. This is from the webinar that's coming up. I'm giving you a little preview of the webinar. This is just 4 minutes of Mike from Around the World. He talks about a range of discoveries and information on aliens among us. But I'm going to play this because this may be kind of a match, or something very similar to this is what Mike talked about in the webinar. So let's go down. This is for the upcoming webinar that's coming up in 8 days. Get your tickets for it. It's called Aliens Among Us. Here's 4 minutes of Mike's 1 hour and 13-minute presentation as he talks about the ant people.
Happens to this day. Whenever they do these digs in archaeology, whenever they find people who have been isolated, do you not know that it's almost like a mandate that the U.S. government will send people to attempt to find if they know anything about these grays, about insectoids, about all these various species. That's a priority. Don't you find that odd?
I find that real odd. I mean, so they want to talk to these. They went to see these 7 tribes they found that had never had contact really with civilization, or what we call civilization.
No, they knew nothing about it. And they wanted to know if they knew what a gray was. Well, when they showed them the picture of the gray, it's described as though they recognized that picture like they would recognize an animal.
Wow.
It's just like they were, and you know what they called them?
No.
The ant people. So this happened in South America. So in South America, they're calling these people the ant people. There were 2 tribes near in Russia. The same thing happened, ant people. And why are all these isolated, untouched, uncontacted tribes referring to grays as the ant people? Let me tell you what they also said. They also said that they live underneath the ground. They also said that they've been involved in their history since the beginning.
Wow.
So they established that they're from the subterranean cities that these people up top can never go to. And another question is asked, do they ever see them? You know, and they said yes all the time, but they will not interfere with them.
So the grays are these tribes recognize the pictures of the grays, call them ant people, and say, yeah, they live underground, and yes, we still have interaction with them all the time. So the grays are...
They let them do what they want. They will. These tribes, they're not terrified of them, right? But they have a high regard for them. They don't worship them either. See, that was the thing. They don't worship them. They don't make them deities or anything.
Yeah.
But they know of their existence, and they refer to them as the ant people are more like animals than anything else. They recognize them just like they would a dog or a snake or something like that, right? So just like an animal, except they said they never get in their way, right? These ant people will often come and approach their people at night.
I I mean, this is this presentation. That's 4 minutes of Mike from around the world. 1 hour and 13-minute incredible presentation, and I'm giving you a little preview of it, of the webinar. He's talking about the ant people. First of all, he says they find 7 tribes in South America somewhere, and I'm going to assume maybe it was Peru. He doesn't say. This article just come out 2 hours ago about the 3-fingered alien mummies found in Peru, okay, that have fingerprints that do not appear to be human. The DNA from these mummies are also being examined, and 3 different medical examiners, very professional, one that worked even on the 9/11 identifying of people after 9/11, and they're all 3 saying these are not human. These are not human. They are another species. They didn't say that for sure, they didn't say they were extraterrestrial, but they're not human. But what are they? They're 4 foot tall. And so when they talk to these, there's 7 tribes, undiscovered tribes, or at least we don't know about. These tribes have never seen civilization as we know it. But apparently we know that they existed. And so in the last year or so, they've been shown these mummies. Well, I don't know if these is the same thing. I don't know if this article here is the same thing. It doesn't say anything about 7 tribes. So I'm just saying maybe that's what this is, but maybe not. But what Mike's saying is there's 7 tribes that no one's ever seen before, and these tribes have never seen civilization. They showed them pictures of grays, and those people said, yeah, we know what those are. Those are the ant people. They live under the ground. And so these 4 foot tall mummies that have 3 fingers on each hand are not human. What are they then? So, again, I don't know if these 3 mummies are the same thing as what Mike's talking about, because Mike didn't say that. Mike just said that they found these 7 tribes. They've showed them pictures of grays. They immediately identified the grays as the ant people, and that they live underground. So that's just 4 minutes. I'm going to stop there, but I want you to get your ticket and be sure that this is why you need to get a ticket. This is 4 minutes of Mike Around the World's 1 hour and 13-minute presentation. He dropped so many bombs in this one. I wouldn't have even played you this one, except this article came out, and I thought, could those 2 things be the same or not? I don't know. But incredible information in this webinar. Please get a ticket. Go to my website at paulbegleyprophecy.com, or you can go to Eventbrite and get a ticket there. Or you can pick up the phone and call the main line, 765-414-2230, and order your ticket by phone. But guys, we're only 8 days away. You don't want to miss this one. This is just one guy, Mike, from around the world. But there's Stan Deo, and he'll tell you about his encounter with a Nordic. You'll find out unbelievable information about Mars from Rex Bear, actual pictures and footage. You will watch an hour and 20 minutes of Ellie Marzulli, mostly videotape and interviews with people who have had encounters. He'll even take you to the crash site of Roswell. There's so much in this webinar. Avi Loeb, oh my Lord of mercy, all of them, okay? BP Earthwatch, all of them. So be sure you get your ticket. And don't forget, tonight, we'll be live at 9 p.m. Eastern. A doubleheader tonight. We have BP Earthwatch joining us tonight and Mike from around the world. So you don't want to miss it. It's going to be a powerful, epic broadcast. And this webinar is absolutely extraordinary. Extraordinary. I don't even know. I'm trying to find the right word for it. Extraordinary information. A webinar like none other. aliens among us. I mean, and I've had people say to me, Pastor Paul, could there be? Look, here's what I'm saying. God's the creator of all things, good and bad. Everything was ever created, he made was good. But then we know that Lucifer and the fallen angels created the Nephilim, and that wasn't good. But what does this all mean? It's the wrong website there, Miss Edie. I was walking home from school on a cold and winter day. Took a shortcut through the woods and I lost my way. It was getting late and I was scared and alone. Then a kind old man took me by the hand and he led me home. Mama couldn't see him, but she was standing there. I knew in my heart he was an answer to my prayer. Oh, I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you in our darkest hour, show us how to live. They teach us how to give, to guide us with the light of love. When life held troubled times and had me down on my knees, there's always been someone to come and comfort me. A kind word from a stranger to lend a helping hand, a phone call from a friend just to say I understand. Ain't it kind of funny at the dark end of the road, someone lit the way with just a single ray of hope. I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you in your darkest hours. They show us how to live. They teach us how to give, guide us with the light of love. They wear so many faces, show up in the strangest places, grace us with their mercy in our time of need. So don't miss tonight, guys. Again, going to be a powerful, powerful broadcast tonight with BP Earthwatch and Mike from around the world. You don't want to miss it tonight. God bless you. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on the coming apocalypse. Give your life to Jesus Christ. Certainly, we're living in some of the most strangest times ever on many different levels. So you want to be ready when the Lord comes. God bless.